Becoming a president is no easy task. However, the requirements are not so many. Two of them are just simply a matter of time. The first is residing in the United States for 14 years, and the other is being at least 35 years of age. The third one is simply being born under the right conditions, as one must be born as a natural born citizen. The idea behind someone being 35 years old is just that the people has lived long enough that the public can see and observe them. At first, I thought that that meant that the candidate needed to hold a public position, something like a governor, something like a representative, legislator of some kind, maybe even the head of an agency. And from what I remember, during the last 50 years, all but one president met those conditions. But then I realized that that wasn't completely true. They simply meant being public. That the public can look at what you offer, what your history is, and everything else. And under those conditions, yeah, during the last 50 years, every single president has met that condition. The good things about those requirements is that anyone can be president. Well, anyone but residents of Guam, because the territories in the US itself, everyone is a natural born citizen. But the reality is that the story isn't that simple. After 250 years and 47 presidents, we have had zero one presidents and only one black president. Another little holder along the way is the cost of a presidential campaign. Those costs are absolute madness. According to Open Secrets, Amala spent almost $2 billion and Trump $1.47 billion in their campaigns. Those are no small numbers in any kind of way of looking at it. Above all, that means that you have to enter into the public eye. You have to be out there in public so that people can get to know you, can get to like you, and encourage, and then the people are encouraged to spend on you because, again, those numbers are not small. In the last election, the Green Party raised $2.7 million, and their campaign ended with zero debt. Kamala also left with zero debt. Trump left $6.7 million in debt. So people really, really have to believe in you because it's not only that you get to spend all that money, is that at the end, someone may end up holding the bag of debt. Bringing someone that is unknown into the public eye can be a little problematic. Democrats did it recently in Maine. It wasn't good for them. Graham Plattner generated goodwill among the Maine electorate. They could identify with him. They liked the ideas that he espoused, the ideas that he proposed. They really felt that he was a good candidate. But then the past came back to bite him. And I'm pretty sure that he knows his past. I'm pretty sure he thought that if they like me, they will give me a chance. Taking cynicism aside, the politicians change their positions or change the tune according to whatever is it that they need. He may have simply thought, I made some very stupid mistakes, and as long as people can believe in me, I will work to make sure that their trust is returned. Those were things of the past. Now I've changed and I've done this. I'm pretty sure that he looked and he saw Trump. Because Trump, after all, was a public person. His record is very public. His bankruptcies, his criminal conviction, the E. Jean Carroll sexual abuse case, his speeches, that things were not meant to be for Plattner. Trump's speeches, they just go round and round and round. They go into very weird places and everything else. Part of those messages include coded message. Those messages, in the end, reach the ears of racist groups who saw in him the great white messiah. They rallied around him, they gave him their votes, they came out, they hold parades, they attack the Capitol, they monitor polling places, they cover their faces when they march into DC. They train like they're in the military. And their ideas are now beyond their own meeting spaces. Those messages continue to this day. A couple of days ago, Trump himself shared a picture of him and his wife and a picture of Sayed and his wife and Sayed's wife. He simply captioned it as two very different Americas. In another message that he posted about El Sayed, he captioned the picture of El Sayed as, "They're coming for your house and your belongings." You know, you don't need to say a lot to understand what's really going on. In this racist revival, it is terrifying to be brown, to speak with an accent, or simply to speak poor English. It's scary to be a gardener, scary to be a carpenter, scary to go to the hardware store, scary to go to the supermarket, or any place that has Hispanics around it. I wonder if well-known figures like Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio feel some kind of self-hatred, or they feel fear. After all, they're Hispanic. I wonder if party loyalty prevents them from seeing and rebuking what is happening. I wonder how many non-white people hide behind the language and actions of the administration so as not to become another statistic. Those people don't understand that it doesn't help. They too can be flown away to destinations beyond geography, language, and justice. Current legislative positions feature representatives from minority groups, women, blacks, Muslims, Jews, homosexual, Hispanics, indigenous people, Indians, and who knows what else out there. Most likely, this better reflects the electorate of the respective places. But the presidency is a different story. You only have to look at the candidacies of Kamala and Obama to see all the kind of rotten messages that came out. So imagine if someone like me comes out and then all of a sudden everyone learns that I use two last names, that my first language is Spanish, that my English, of course, comes with an accent. What would their interest be in my ideas, my public policy, foreign policy, environmental policy, science policy, and any kind of policy position? I imagine places like Fox would do the same thing that they do today, that they are only covering transsexual athletes instead of trying to cover what's going on in the administration. Places like those will divert attention and manufacture rage amongst the viewers. But a guy like me, they will most likely focus on what? My lack of hair, my accent, or maybe like they did with Obama, they will find me a new homeland. The US has a problem of not really finding an understanding and putting themselves, standing up to racism. In a place like Germany, after the World War, after Hitler, they simply refuse to forget. They refuse to have those ideas resurface again. They've kept that memory. Every time that any idea like that came out, they came out to fight them. And they've done a good job. But even when a place like that is conscious about the problem and fights against it, they may still lose that fight. Or not lose that fight, but find that it's more difficult. They have their AFD party right now that is getting some power. And even though they have tried and they have known, they've told everyone about their racist ideas, they are getting power. So if a place like that, that is very open about it, has troubles, just imagine a place like here that we don't really want to deal with it. We still want to, cover it or paint it rose or do something, but not simply present the problem as it is. If I were president, I would start by thanking everyone that believed in me because they are giving me their trust that something will be, that they're expecting something good from me. So being thankful for that will be important, for recognizing that this is not everything, that there's more to it than just the looks, than just the history. I will strive to do my best work because that is what the office requires. But also because when you're a trailblazer, you have to take all of the thorns, you have to break down all of the vines, you'll be stepping on all of the anthills. And that will mean that there will be people that are looking out for your failure. And they will take my failure and they will plaster that on everyone that somehow looks or that can feel represented by Hispanic. I see it even in the Hispanics themselves because they will look up and they will say, don't mess it up because what you do will come back to us. It represents us. I hear that. I hear that all the time. But also, I want to be the best in that position simply because it is still a sign of hope. When you are the first, everyone that comes behind will be able to look at you and say, it can be done.